I'm Noria Watson, and I'm from Grayson County, Kentucky, more specifically Litchfield. I've been writing since I was about like 2, I think. I made my first book when I was 4, and it was like this illustrated book on spiders on like construction paper that I did with like Crayola twistable colored pencils. It was really cute. And then in kindergarten, whenever we had free time, I would like make these little like books out of like scrap printer paper, and I would like draw on them with colored pencils and like markers. And eventually, it kind of evolved to me like making children's books, and then making comic books, and then like eventually just me making art as a full way of telling stories. I guess I live in a very social environment, and I try to talk to a very diverse range of people, which I guess is kind of hard from where I live because it's a very small town, very rural community. But like there are some people, once you really get to know them, I guess like they'll just open up and you'll tell these stories, and like you'll share like what you feel and what they feel, and then you can sort of, in my head, I kind of put those feelings into an image in a way. So like the kind of mood of my environment kind of shapes what I'm thinking, because if it's a more down environment with the people that I'm around, well then I'll start making more um like thought provoking or maybe like sadder tone pieces with more like intricate sort of meaning behind them. But if I'm in a good mood, I feel like I'll be doing something silly or just like that brings me joy or something, that I'll just start drawing cartoon characters, things like that, instead of making like a painting or something that holds like a greater meaning than like what you see on the surface. Um I feel like I was mostly the one who pushed myself on this path. Obviously, I had a lot of support from my dad, and I really appreciate him for that. He was the one who bought me my first set of paints when I first started painting, and that was just like a surprise out of nowhere, and that really encouraged me to do it. But I started getting really into art during COVID year, and it was very online society at that point, I think, and that's when I started getting really into music. So I had a lot of these musical artists, and I would get really, really into like their history and like what they did. And my favorite bands, people are gonna hate me for saying this, but it's My Chemical Romance, and all of their band members are just so like unique and artistic people, and seeing that they could use this music and these like again stories to like connect with people, and they've built such like a large and long-standing audience of people who like relate so heavily to what they've made. And along with that, they've made comic books and they've made graphic novels, and like along with their albums and books and just everything, they're just creative people. And I feel like their presence in the world has what influenced me most, and it really showed me that I can do art as a career, and that like this really touches people, and that what I make means something, because there are literally so many jobs out there that you can do with art. Art is literally so valuable in every single aspect. Like we could not walk down a street in any town without having some form of art in our face, whether it's like graphic design or a painting, a mural maybe, or it's an advertisement. And that's all stuff you do with visual art. And that's something that's really important and also very well paying. And a lot of people like to say, well, you're going to be living on the side of the street in a cardboard box if you choose to do this with your life. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Because if you have the drive and like the skill and like the passion for it, then you can get anywhere with it. And there's so many opportunities to learn, even like within your own state, you know? So it's very much possible. Whenever I make art, I guess I get joy when other people find joy in what I'm making. So I make a lot of things. I enjoy showing it to people, and it's not like I crave validation. It's just that like I do it to make other people happy, and I like making stories that other people can relate to, and I like making concepts that like are scenes from people's everyday lives that they can be like, oh, I relate to that. I've been in a situation like that before. Or like, oh, that's cool. I kind of feel what you're trying to get through this piece, and I I get a lot of meaning out of basically taking everyday life and these interesting aspects of just like the human character and just like turning it into like a story or a piece. In the future, I want to work in the animation and film industry, because that's kind of what I grew up on, and that's really what inspires me because it's like the most direct way to connect with an audience, I feel like. And people resonate with movies more than they do anything else. It's just like such a adamant part of our culture. It's so prominent, and it's just such an amazing and beautiful way to just like reach people in a way and just like touch their hearts a little bit. The instructors here have really like guided me in a way to like develop my own ideas in a way that is both like technically correct and then also idealistically what I want it to be. And they're really showing me how I can improve and what I need to do. I feel like if anybody like they should totally apply whether or not they think they're going to get in or not, because I feel like if you do get in, it's like the most educational experience we'll probably get in the state, especially if you don't go to like a big inner city school or just like somewhere with like a really good education. I come from a rural area, so like this wasn't the kind of education that was readily available to me. And if I wanted it, I would have to drive like an hour, 30 minutes to Louisville to go get it, and I don't even know where that would happen. So this is really valuable for anybody who's just wanting to like connect with other people and make friends with the interests that they have and just to have fun with people like from all across the state, and also to learn like valuable skills in whatever field they want to go to. Um, I'm in the process of making a comic right now. I plan on posting it online pretty soon. I'm working through a lot of the character designs and like planning out the pages for the first chapter right now. And I've been working on this story in many different variations since I was like 7 years old, I think. So it's really cool to see it like change over the years and how I've come back and revisited it. And I think I've finally settled on like a specific way that I'm going to do it and the way that I write it. And I'm really excited to like go at it, I guess. It's called Odd Jobs, and it's a fantasy comic. And it's about these two friends who they decide they want to help the world in like a better way than just being like, you know, a prince or a princess in a castle. So they just kind of like go running around the country in like this old wagon, like doing like these weird like missions for people, and then eventually they get wrapped up in like a vampire mafia, and then they have to fight a kraken, and then they meet this like child that falls from the sky, and I don't want to get into that because that's kind of like the big thing, but like it's really cool. I'm excited about it.